Thanks for joining us this morning. Some serious questions over the airport security blunder which allowed 2 German travellers to fly into Melbourne from Sydney without going into hotel quarantine. A Sydney police officer on only his second shift has been blamed for the mistake, which has seen more than 170 people go into isolation. There is plenty to discuss this morning, and I'm joined by Northern Territory Senator Malarndirri McCarthy and Chris Smith from 2GB and 4BC. Nice to see you both.
Morning.
Malarndirri, I mean, this is embarrassing for New South Wales Police.
Yeah,
and
very.
look, we totally get that mistakes are made, but the issue here is the consequences could have been catastrophic.
Absolutely, Ali, and this is why that sense of vigilance is even more so important as we kind of come to what's been an exhausting year and we come to the end of it. We've actually got to be on even greater alert, because this is when those sorts of things can happen and become something that we don't want it to be.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on this yesterday, Chris? Because, I mean, the mum and her son, they're only picked up by an eagle-eyed security attendant at Melbourne Airport who'd realised that they'd avoided hotel quarantine. We had the Health Minister, Greg Hunt, saying that we have this fail-safe border control, but to be honest, I mean, this was pure luck, wasn't it, that this was picked up?
It was. We don't have a fail-safe border control. Humans are involved, and when humans are involved, mistakes are going to be made. When you consider they dealt with 100,000 returned travellers over the space of about 7 months, it's not a bad record. And I'm sure the police officer had his bum kicked. At the end of the day, these things will happen. We've got great contact tracing and hopefully good contact tracing in Melbourne. We could have handled it if we had to. I think at the end of the day, they've done a pretty good job.
And look, good on this police officer, straight away fessed up and said this. It was only his second day. He's learnt from this, and the police have learnt from this, and they've put more checks and balances in place. Now, I want to talk to you about the huge reaction to the historic rendition of the national anthem by teenager Olivia Fox at the weekend's Wallabies game. Just take a listen. I thought it was just beautiful. The Newtown High School student singing in the Indigenous Eora language with all the players learning the words. It was pretty special in my mind, but it has been criticised by some former Indigenous sports stars who say changing the language still doesn't change the meaning of the anthem. Malarndirri, what did you take from this?
Oh, I thought it was absolutely beautiful, Ali. I think anything that does try to bring our country together has to be a good thing, and hearing First Nations languages even more, whether it's in the anthem or even spoken in other areas or even used in terms of the names of suburbs and streets, brings about a better, I think, a better playing field for that respect and understanding. Now, of course, there's questions around the words of the anthem, and that's certainly a conversation that we've had on your program before. I mean, I've always said that I love the version of Judith Durham and Kucha, you know, and I just think that's a great anthem. But this was a great moment, and I say well done to the Wallabies. You know, well done for doing what you did.
Yeah, didn't you think it was amazing that they all learnt the words? I thought that was
absolutely,
so
Ali.
powerful.
Absolutely, and you know, and all the commentary in terms of Australians and anyone else who wanted to say whatever they thought. It was really a beautiful moment in sport, and I do commend them for doing that. I hear what others are saying around the meaning of the words in the anthem, but you know what? We are getting so much better at having this conversation. And I think we're going to get to a point where we're going to discuss that as well.
Yeah. Chris, your thoughts?
Well, the way the Wallabies played, they obviously spent too much time in singing lessons and not enough time in the training paddock. But anyway, let's put that aside. I thought it was wonderful. I think we've got to get rid of the word young. We're not young. Our habitation is not young. The land is not young. It's incredibly old. Get rid of the word. We've already removed a word from the anthem previously. We can do it again. That's a good conversation to have. As for Anthony Mundine, will we ever placate Anthony Mundine? No.
Yep, that's a fair call. And you've been telling us what you think on Facebook. Nathan from Caloundra in Queensland said it was beautifully done and nice to see almost everyone singing in both languages. From David Grieve in South Sydney, it doesn't matter what language the anthem is sung in, it's some of the words that need changing. And Lyndall Marshall says in a lot of countries the national anthem is sung in more than one language, an excellent way of including everyone. Keep your comments coming. What did you think of those comments, Malarndirri?
Yeah, Ali, look, I was just going to say as well, and I think it's important that all Australians recognise that First Nations people will have different views, and it's important to respect the different views of that too. And I think, you know, we talk about wanting to have a voice to the Parliament of First Nations people, and that's why, so that there can be an open dialogue of the differences as well amongst First Nations people.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. The singer herself, Olivia Fox, is going to be joining us on the show a little later. I look forward to that. Now, some changes coming to our workplace laws. Casual workers who've stayed with the same employer for a year must be offered permanent employment. But there is a catch. Employers have the right to turn down the request if it requires a significant change to hours or is deemed unreasonable for their business. Malarndirri, is there a danger here that employers will simply opt out of this? I know the unions aren't happy.
Look, Ali, I've been certainly looking at the articles on it. We obviously haven't seen the legislation here, and I certainly haven't in our caucus in the Parliament. But one of the things that I'm concerned about is that we have an issue with trust with the government in terms of workers, and whether this is really going to hit the mark on protecting the rights of the current workers as well as those going forward is the area that I'll certainly be looking at. I don't feel comfortable with what I've seen so far, and I've certainly heard what the unions are saying. So clearly we've got a fair way to go yet on this.
Sounds like you've got a busy final week in Canberra too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just very quickly, Victoria and New South Wales has been called Freedom Monday when a raft of COVID restrictions come crashing down. Chris, you can finally hit the dance floor with 49 of your closest friends.
Oh, back to Nutbush city limits. I can't wait. You know, it's going to be fantastic.
Why don't you start now, Chris?
No, I can do that. That's all I can do, the role.
Give us a rendition now.
No, this is really good, and it's a great commendation on the people of Australia who did so well. But can I just say the masks? I think Victoria has buggered up badly, but what they've done with masks has been a fantastic masterstroke. And look at that person who was last infected in Sydney. That person went on 12 trains, 6 light rail trips, and none of the people at this stage, after 4 days of testing, have been infected. The mask was the thing that she was wearing. It was a masterstroke.
All right. Well, Malarndirri, you enjoy your new freedoms. Hallelujah,
Yes.
we say. And we'll talk to you both later. Thank